students, so this video is basically recorded to learn on digital system design, and we will be learning on introduction part of the digital system design. Hi students, so this video is been recorded to explain the subject called digital system design or digital electronics or logic design. So there are many names which have been given for this particular subject, where digital system design is one of the subject where we normally learn different types of combinational logic circuits that we use in many components or many different devices that we design in our engineering life. So normally when you go in further in future in later semesters, you people learn on encoders, decoders, multiplexers, demultiplexers, and so on, comparators. Okay, so we do have lot of different components which we normally learn or which we use in our engineering life when we go further. Anyhow, this video that I am recording will be viewed by I hope the second year engineering students, where they need some basic knowledge on how to design encoders or decoders or multiplexers or any as such converters, code converters and all. You should have some basic knowledge on digital system design. Okay, you need to have basic knowledge on different gates that are used in digital circuits. So this particular video or this sessions, whatever I record and the whatever you see in YouTube, the videos on digital system design which I am going to record will basically give you a very good taste on the different digital circuits that we come across. Okay, so we learn how to use gates, different gates, logic gates that we have, and using that gates we'll see how to design some sort of decoders, encoders, multiplexers, comparators and so on. And then we later get into designing of counters. Okay, we will see how to use flip-flops. For example, like we have JK flip-flop, D flip-flop, T flip-flop and so on. So we use flip-flops, and then we see how to design counters, decade counters, or synchronous and synchronous counters and so on. So basically my video, whatever you listen to this, is basically covers the foundation part of the digital system design, what students need to learn in the in their second year of engineering, to further understand much better the subjects which are like information theory and coding, what you have in 6M, and then you have communication system, digital communication. Wherever you go, I hope the knowledge that you try to gain in this particular digital system design module subject will help you a lot. Okay, so what exactly we cover in the beginning is as far as my video is concerned, I am more of bothered on the syllabus that we have defined in Visvesvaraya Technological University. So I'll be going through that particular syllabus, and I hope the same syllabus is common for many other universities also if they're learning digital system design or digital electronic subject. So I hope most of the things will be covered for it is irrespective of the university. Anyone can watch this video and learn the concepts. Okay. The first module what we have here in the syllabus is principles of combinational logic circuits. So principles of combinational logic, what we actually need to learn in module 1. So first we'll see what is the definition of combinational logic, and then we see what is canonical form in the the digital system design. Like we have sum of product and product of sum term that we normally come across. Then we'll see how to generate an equation from any given truth table. Now, first of all, the question will be given to you in statement, English statement, and that English statement question converts into truth table, and then from truth table you try to write an equation for that particular truth table. Okay, then we'll see how to work on K-map. K-map that we work will be on 3 variable, 4 variable and 5 variable K-maps, and then we'll see how to work on incompletely specified functions, which is we come across with something called as don't care terms. Okay, see, we'll see how to solve find out the solution when we have don't care terms in the given question. And then we have simplifying the max term equations, and then we have Quine-McCluskey techniques, where we come across where we see 3 and 4 variable. So this Quine-McCluskey techniques is something which is used the complexity that is being reduced by using this technique, where the complexity is more in Karnaugh-Mapf technique. Okay, so K-map, using K-map we solve some logical expressions. So using K-map, when we do it, it becomes more complicated if the number of variables gets increased. So how to come across or overcome with that when variables gets increased? Quine-McCluskey is one of the very good technique where we use to solve any given logical expression in a very simplest manner. Okay. All right. So let us go with the definition of combinational logic quickly. So instead of writing an English statement for combinational logic definition, we'll see how it is being defined. So normally combinational logic circuit is divided into three different blocks. One is arithmetic and logic functions. Second one is data transmission, and third is code converters. Okay. Any combinational logic circuit you take, we will have three different blocks of combinational logic circuits that we come across. One is arithmetic and logical functions, you see. Okay, and then you see data transmission circuits, and then we see code converter circuits. Okay, so arithmetic and logical functions, normally we see adders, subtractors, comparators, programmable logic devices, PLDs, and so on. Okay, so that comes under arithmetic and logical functions. Then we see the data transmission devices, which are multiplexers, demultiplexers, we have encoders, we have decoders, and so on. Okay, later stage we learn all these things one by one. We learn how to design adders, we learn how to design subtractors, we learn how to design comparators, and so on. We also learn how to design multiplexers, demultiplexers, encoders, decoders. We also learn how to design code converters like binary to BCD or BCD to binary, and we also learn how to design a 7-segment display and so on. Now, where exactly the application that you can find out with all these particular devices? I hope for an example, if you take the traffic light signal, traffic signal is some sort of counter which you normally see, right? It starts from 90 and it goes to 0, and then from red to green it shows, and then you start moving your vehicle. So a traffic signal can be an example of any counter based circuit. Now if you want to see that light, or if you want to see that particular counter value, then you need a 7-segment display for that particular traffic signal. So all these things, like that is an application just which I told you, but how to design those applications is all what the knowledge that you gain by designing this combinational logic circuits. Now we need encoders or decoders, right? What is encoding? Converting one form of signal to another form, and decoding is converting again back to the initial signal that we transmitted. So decoders and encoders are some sort of encryption and decryption that we do to hide the signal. So that can also be done. Multiplexers or demultiplexers, dividing frequency into different hertz so that different channels can be viewed in a single bandwidth. Okay, so anyway, I will not scratch your head in the beginning because you are in the beginning stage, so you will learn in future further what is the benefit of designing all these adders, subtractors, or multiplexer, demultiplexer, encoder, decoder, code converters, and so on. Okay, now strictly speaking, in the beginning we should learn Boolean algebra laws that we have. Okay, so we need to know what are the laws that we have in Boolean algebra, and once we find out the laws, we use these laws to reduce the expressions in the future discussion. Okay, so to write what exactly, like for example, if I ask you to design an adder, what you do is you write a truth table for that adder, and then you try to apply K-map and get the expression for that adder, and then by keeping that expression you connect the gates, logic gates, and that gates connection will give you the output of an adder circuit. So this is what the steps we normally come across. Now if you want to have an adder and then find out the expression for the adder, truth table and then the expression for the adder, to write the expression, to reduce the expression in the simplest manner, we need to know these different Boolean algebra laws. So we need to know this laws so that once we know this laws, I hope finding out the solution or finding out the expression in a much simplest manner will be very simple. Okay. So now why for example is for you will have a box, geometry box, where you can fit only 10 pencils inside the particular geometry box, right? So what happens if you try to fit 15 pencils into that particular geometry box? Definitely there will be no space for that 5 pencils to fit in, right? Because your geometry box can accept only 10 pencils, whereas you are trying to fit 15 pencils, where 5 pencils will become an extra. So similarly here, your Boolean expression or logical expression should be simplified in such a manner that it should fit into the device. Okay, so you should see through that the number of gates is been reduced so that you are able to design the device in much simplest manner. Okay, so for that you need to know what is Boolean algebra laws are. So here we have first law, a plus 1 equals 1. Think that a is some logical variable. So if you add with 1, you will get 1 only. Okay, think a is 0 or a is 1. So here 0 plus 1 is again 1 or 1 plus 1 is again 1. So here this is annulment law, what we call it as. This law is called as annulment law. Okay, annulment law is what we can say. Then we have a plus 0 which will be equal to a. Now think a equals 1, 1 plus 0 is 1. Think a equals 0, 0 plus 0 is again 0. So whatever the value of a, that you get here. So therefore a plus 0 equals a. So here a plus 1 equals 1. So either a is 0 or 1. Anything added with 1 will give you 1. That is the reason it is 1. Annulment law. Now here either you add 1 with a, you get 1 plus 0 is 1 only. So therefore a, you get a. And you make a equals 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. Therefore you get a only. So therefore a plus 0 equals a. Anything multiplied by 1 will be equal to a only, because a into 1 is a. So here a is 0, 0 into 1 is 0. A is 1, 1 into 1 is 1. Now here into means this is AND operation. Think this in mind. Into means this is AND. Dot means here it is AND. Plus means it is OR operation. Okay. Plus is OR, whereas dot is AND operation. Anything ANDed with 0 is again 0. Right? So a AND with 0 equals 0. So 1 AND with 0 is 0. 0 AND with 0 is again 0. Therefore that is what annulment law. So this two annulment law, a plus 1 equals 1, a and 0 equals 0, which is annulment law, and this two, a plus 0 equals a into 1 equals a, which is identity law. Okay. Similarly, next step. Idempotent law. Okay, so it is idempotent law. So what is the idempotent law? Is a plus a or a will be equal to a. A and a will be equal to a. Okay, so a plus a equals a into a equals a. Then double negation law. Not of a bar will be equal to a. Okay, we have a bar here. Not of that will be equal to a. Now think a equals 0. 0 bar is 1. Not of 0 equal 1 is again 0. So not of a bar will be equal to a. I will repeat again. Think a equals 0. Now if a is 0, 0 bar is 1. Okay, 0 bar is 1. Not of 1 is again 0. So I took a was 0. So not of a bar is again a. So I got 0. So a is nothing but 0 initially, which I assume. Eighth law. A plus a bar equals 1. A into a bar equals 0. Okay, so think a equals 0. 0 plus 0 bar is 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1. Think a equals 1. 1 plus 1 bar is 0. So 1 plus 0 equals 1. So here similarly 0 into a bar. 0 bar is 1. So 0 into 1 is 0. Think a is 1. 1 into 1 bar is 0. 1 into 0 is 0. Therefore this becomes a complement law. So similarly 10th is a plus b equals b plus a. A and b equals b and a. Okay, so this is commutative law. A or B equals B or A and B equals B and A. Okay, plus and into, whenever I say it is and or operation, keep this in mind. Coming to 12th law, this is De Morgan's law, and I hope this theorem, what you learn, De Morgan's theorem, we will do even in the lab. First experiment is De Morgan's theorem, which we actually execute. So what is De Morgan's theorem? Says A plus B the whole bar equals A bar and B bar. A plus B the whole bar equals A bar and B bar. Another De Morgan's theorem is A and B the whole bar equals A bar plus B bar. Okay, A and B the whole bar equals A bar plus B bar. So this two De Morgan's theorem is very important in your logical expression reduction in future. And meanwhile, this De Morgan's theorem, we are also doing this, we are realizing this De Morgan's theorem in the lab. First experiment is De Morgan's theorem realization in the lab. So we'll see that, we'll see how to do that, both using simulator and by using the circuits. Now the 14th is distributive law. So we do have two different distributive law here. One is OR, the other one is AND distributive law. Okay, OR distributive law, and then you have AND distributive law. So here A into B plus C would be equal to A into B plus A into C. Just multiply A with the B and C. That is what it is. So this is OR distributive law because you have plus here. So plus is OR. ORing two AND functions is what OR distributive law. Then ANDing two OR functions will be AND distributive law. It means A plus B into C will be equal to A plus B multiplied by A plus C. Okay. Then 15th law, absorption law. A plus A into B will be equal to A. Okay. So A plus A into B will be equal to A. A into A plus B will be equal to A. So you multiply A with A plus B will be equal to A. You add A with A into B, that will also be equal to A. This is the OR absorption law or AND absorption law. Similarly, you have associative law, which is A plus B plus C, which will be equal to A plus B plus C. So A plus B plus C will be equal to A plus B plus C. This bracket is very important that you need to keep in mind. Okay, bracket is very important to write. Here you are adding B and C and then you are adding with A. Here you are adding A and B and then adding with C. That is what. Okay, all are same. And this in turn equal to adding all three together. So add means here OR operation. Keep this in mind. OR associative law. Here A and B and C will be equal to A and B and C, or it is A and B and C. So this is AND associative law. Finally, we have 17th proof, which is A plus A bar B, which will be equal to A plus B. A plus A bar B will be equal to A plus B. So a small proof for this, we can write A plus A bar B as A into 1. A into 1 equals A, right? That we have seen earlier in annulment law, see here, identity law. So which is A into 1 equals A. So therefore I will put that here. So A into 1 plus A bar B. Now can I write 1 as B plus 1? It is A plus 1 equals 1. Similarly B plus 1 is also equal to 1. So I will replace this 1 with B plus 1. So it is nothing but A into 1 plus B plus A bar B. Now I will multiply this A with 1 plus B. I get A plus AB plus A bar B. Now in these two I will take B common. Right, in these two I will take B common. So it is A plus B into A plus A bar. Now what is A plus A bar? If you go back and see, A plus A bar equals 1. Therefore A plus B multiplied by A plus A bar is 1. Therefore I get A plus B here. Right, therefore A plus A bar B can be written as A plus B. Got it? Clear? Okay, now let us fastly move on to principles of combinational logic circuits. So let us see what are the different logic gates that we have, and then we see what are the different universal gates that we have in digital electronic circuits, and then we'll see how to use all these gates to design adders, subtractors, encoders, decoders, multiplexers, demultiplexers, and so on. Okay. The first main gate which we learn here in logic gates is AND gate. So AND gate is what we'll have two or more inputs in AND gates and only one output in an AND gate. Okay, we'll have two or more inputs, whereas only one output in an AND gate. Now this is the symbol which is used for an AND gate. Okay, A and B are inputs and output is A and B. Okay, symbol is very important. You should keep this symbol in mind. Okay, so it can be more than two inputs here. Here this is the two input AND gate what you can see here, but you will have more than two input AND gate also, but output is always one output for AND gate. Okay, output is always one terminal. Two input terminal here and one output terminal. So this is two input AND gate. Okay, two input AND gate what you can see here. Now what would be the truth table here for two input AND gate? So we have A and B. So when I have two inputs, I will get 2 power 2, which is 4 combinations. Two inputs, 2 power 2, 4 combinations. Three inputs, 2 power 3, which is 8 combinations, and so on. So 2 power n, where n is the number of inputs. So here 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1 are the 4 combinations. 0 ANDed with 0 is 0. For any AND gate, both inputs should be 1, then only the output will be 1. And for all other 3 combinations it is 0 because any one input is 0. Got it? So for an AND gate, 2 inputs should be 1, then only the output is 1. If any one input is 0, if any one input is 0 in AND gate, then the output remains 0. For an AND gate, all inputs should be 1, then only the output is 1. So what would be the equation? So in this truth table, try to see where 1 is. So you should check only the value where the variable is 1. So here the output is 1 here. For that the input is 1 and 1. So 1 into A multiplied by 1 into B. So therefore A into B or A and B. We call it as A and B. So Y equals A and B is the expression that we get for 2 input AND gate. Now if I ask you what is the expression that you get for 3 input AND gate? So you will add one more input here. Here A and B is the 2 input. You will add one more input as C and you will get 8 combinations here. And all combinations will be giving you output 0 when any one input is 0. For an AND gate, all 3 inputs should be equal to 1, which is A, B, C. All 3 are 1. Therefore, equation would be Y equals ABC for 3 input AND gate and so on. Okay. Therefore, any one input is 0, then output is 0. Only if both inputs are 1, then output is 1. Okay. Now we will have an IC which we use in the lab for AND gate. So we use some sort of integrated circuit IC for realizing the AND gate. So what IC we use for AND gate? 7408 is what 2 input AND gate that we use in the lab. Okay, 7408 is the IC 2 input the AND gate IC that we use in the lab. Okay, so which are the 3 input AND gate? 3 input AND gate is 74LS11. Similarly, we have 4 input AND gate 74HC21 and so on. Anyway, in lab we have only 2 input AND gate, so we will be using in the lab 7408. Okay, 7408 is the IC which we will be using in the lab. So keep this IC number in mind. So 7408 is for 2 input AND gate. Okay, coming to next IC, which is 2 input OR gate. Okay, let us get into the OR gate. So OR gate, again we will have more than 2 or more inputs, whereas only one output we have. So this is the symbol used for OR gate. I hope you can see the symbol used for OR gate is this. So keep these symbols, always keep this in mind. You have to go through with this. So we have 2 inputs here, which is A and B, and one output Y. Normally we will write this as A plus B, plus says OR, dot says AND, plus says OR. So here it is dot A dot B, whereas here it is plus A or B. Okay. Now again truth table for OR gate. So in OR gate, if both are 0, if both inputs are 0, then only the output is 0. Any one input is 1, then the output is 1. So if any one input is 1, the output is 1. Okay. So therefore here 0 or 1 is again 1, 1 or 0 is again 1, 1 or 1 is again 1. So therefore all three combinations are 1 because any one input is 1 here. Whereas when both are 0, then the OR gate output is 0. Now equation is what? A plus B. Either you take A equal to 0 or 1, whereas B is 0 or 1. Okay, so when both are 0, then only it is 0. When either one input is 1, it is 1. Okay, plus means here OR, keep this in mind. Now what is again the IC which is used for OR gate? 2 input OR gate is 7432. 7432 is the IC which we use for 2 input OR gate. Similarly, we have 74HC4075 for 3 input OR gate. We have MH74HC4072 which is 4 input OR gate and so on. We have only 7432 in the lab. So students keep this in mind. 7432 is what we have in the lab and we will be using it in the lab when we discuss on lab session. Okay. Next, the third gate is NOT gate. So NOT gate, very important, only one input and one output. NOT will never have more than one input. Okay. Similarly, it will not have more than one output. So NOT gate will always have one input and one output. So when I say one input, then definitely 2 power 1. So you will have two combinations. So either it is 0 or 1. So NOT is always giving complement of the given input. So if the input is 0, then the output is 1. If input is 1, then the output is 0. So complement of the input is what NOT gate gives you always. So the equation for NOT gate is what? A bar. So A is 0, Y equals A bar which is 1. A equals 1, Y equals A bar which is equal to 0. Okay. So one input, one output for NOT gate. And this is the symbol which is used for NOT gate. Very, very important. You have to remember these symbols. Very, very important. So what is the IC used for NOT gate? 7404. The IC which is used for NOT gate is 7404. Okay. So 7404 is the IC which is used for NOT gate. Okay. Now next gate, XOR gate. Okay. So XOR gate is another logic gates which we have now. So we had AND, OR, NOT. Now it is XOR. So this is the symbol used for XOR gate. So you need to keep the symbol into your mind. Okay, symbols are always important because at a later stage when we write the diagram, we use all the symbols to represent the gates in the diagram. Okay, so expressions will be realized and then for that expressions we write the gate diagram. So the gate diagram, what we actually add into the gate diagram is all the symbols what we are seeing now. Okay, these are the gate representation in the diagram. So this is the XOR gate what you can see here. Again, XOR gate can have two or more inputs, whereas only one output. So here a plus with a 0 symbol means a plus surrounded by a circle is what the symbol which is used for XOR gate. Okay, plus with a circle is what XOR. Okay, only plus is OR, whereas plus with the circle is XOR. Okay, symbol is plus with the circle is XOR. So here the truth table is what which is very important for XOR. So in an XOR gate, when both the inputs are 0 or when both the inputs are 1, the output remains 0. When both the inputs are equal, then the output remains 0. It means when both the inputs are 0 and both the inputs are 1, the output remains 0. Any one input is 1 and the other input is 0, the output remains 1. Okay. XOR gate is very, very important in future because we use XOR gate for many different applications. So here the beautiness of the XOR gate is what? When both the inputs are same, output remains 0. Any one input varies, means any one input becomes 1 and other input is 0, the output will become high, which is 1. Okay, now if I write the equation for this, A bar B, when 0 is there, we assume it as A bar. So A bar B 1 and A B bar. Okay, A B bar. For 0 we assume it as bar. Therefore, A bar B plus A B bar because 1 and 1 is there. Therefore, A bar B plus A B bar. That is the actual expression for XOR gate. Where that A bar B plus A B bar we will denote that as A XOR B with this particular symbol, XOR symbol. So this A XOR B, what you see is nothing but A bar B plus AB bar. Okay. Now, what is the IC used for 2-input XOR gate that we have in the lab again? 7486 is the IC which is used for XOR gate. 7486 is the IC which is used for XOR gate. We also have 3-input and 4-input and all 741386, 74HCT86 and so on. Normally we use 2-input only. Okay, 7486 is the 2-input XOR gate. Okay, the last basic logic gate, which is XNOR gate. XNOR gate is quite complicated, complement of XOR gate. Okay, XNOR is complement of XOR. So again, XNOR will have 2 or more inputs, whereas 1 output. Now this bubble says always complement, right? So without a bubble, it is an XOR gate. When you add a bubble here, it becomes XNOR gate. Okay, so that bubble says the complement bar. Okay, so here you have A and B, which are 2 inputs, whereas a dot with the circle is the symbol used for NOR, XNOR. Okay, a dot with the circle is used for XNOR. Keep this in mind. So coming to the truth table, we have A and B. So I said you it is the complement of XOR. So earlier when both the inputs are 0 or both the inputs are 1, in XOR gate we used to get 0. Now when both inputs are 0 or both inputs are 1, we get an output to be equal to 1. And for other two combinations we get output 0. So this is exactly complement of XOR gate. Okay. Now if I write the expression here, what happens? We have 1 for 0 0, we have 1 for 1 1. So I'll assume 0 as bar. So A bar B bar plus AB. So that is what you can see, A bar B bar plus AB. Now this A bar B bar plus AB can be written as A XNOR B. So this XNOR symbol is what? Dot with the circle is XNOR symbol. So this A XNOR B is nothing but equal to A bar B bar plus AB. Okay. So these are the basic logic gates that we have in digital electronics. Then we'll see what are the two different universal gates that we have. So we have NAND gate and NOR gate are the two universal ICs that we have, universal gates. Now why the reason these two gates are called as universal gates? Because by using NAND we can realize OR, we can realize AND, we can realize XOR, we can realize OR and so on. So by using only NAND gates, we can realize any other gates that we come across. Any other logic gates, basic gates we can realize by using NAND gates. Similarly, by using NOR gates, we can realize any other basic gates. That is the reason NAND and NOR are actually called as universal gates. Okay, NAND and NOR are actually called as universal gates. Now let us see what is NAND. Now NAND is complement of AND. Okay, NAND is complement of AND gate. Got it? So here we have a bubble here. So without a bubble, it is an AND gate. When you add a bubble here, it becomes a NAND gate. Okay, so the NAND gate with the bubble is what means an AND gate with the bubble is what? A NAND gate. Now when you write a truth table, it is a complement of AND gate, which I told you. So for any input 0, the output remains 1. When both are 1, the output remains 0. That is the truth table of NAND gate. So this truth table is just a complement of the AND gate truth table. Now when I write what is the expression for NAND gate, it is just a bar of AND gate, right? So therefore AB bar. For AND gate we got AB, for NAND gate we get AB bar. Okay. Now what is the IC which is used for NAND gate? So in lab we have 2 input, 3 input and 4 input NAND gates in the lab. I will show you once we meet in the lab. So it is 7400, 7410 is for 3 and 7420 is for 4 input. So we do have 2 input NAND gate, we also have 3 input NAND gate in the lab, we also have 4 input NAND gate in the lab and so on. Now coming to NOR gate. Again NOR gate is a complement of OR gate. Okay, NOR gate is a complement of OR gate. So here again you can see without this bubble, this is just an OR gate. Once the bubble is been added, this becomes a NOR gate. So as we discussed like NAND gate, similarly the NOR gate truth table will be the complement of OR gate truth table. So in OR gate we saw when both
the inputs are 0, then it was 0. But now in NOR gate, when both inputs are 0, the output remains 1. And any other input is 1. Any other case where any one input is 1, the output remains 0. So earlier in OR gate we had A plus B. Now we do have an equation for NOR gate, which is A plus B the whole bar. Okay, A plus B the whole bar. This is AB the whole bar. Can I write AB the whole bar as A bar plus B bar? De Morgan's theorem. Similarly, if I say A plus B the whole bar, can I say it is A bar and B bar? So therefore, NAND and NOR will follow the De Morgan's theorem very efficiently, and this is the reason why we can derive any other gates using these universal gates, NAND and NOR gates. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. Okay, I have an IC diagram for all these particular gates which we have discussed here. So normally all these basic gates and universal gates which we have discussed is a 14 pin IC. Okay, the IC will have 14 pin. Now those 14 pin ICs will have one input, one pin is ground and the other pin is VCC. So pin number 7 is ground and pin number 14 is VCC, and you will have 4 different AND gate combinations in one single IC. So you can realize 4 AND gates in one single IC. So IC used for AND gate I told you earlier itself, which is 7408. So in IC 7408 you can realize 4 AND gates. So this notch is very important. That notch says the pin numbers where it is beginning. So left to the notch is what pin 1, 2, 3, 4 and till 7, and right to the notch where you see 8 to 14 here. Okay. So similarly you can see OR gate 7432. So again you will have 4 combinations of OR gates in one single IC. Okay, so 4 combinations. So numbering is very important when you do the connection in the lab. Numbering of ICs is very important, because 1 and 2 is the input of AND gate, whereas 3 is the output. Similarly 4 and 5 is input, 6 is the output. You can't use 6 as input, keep this in mind. So numbering, I hope this you can see here which I have written. This numbering is very important when you use the gates in the lab to realize any circuits. So similarly here OR gates, numbering is here. So you have 4 OR gates in any single IC 7432, where 7 is ground and 14 is VCC. Normally for all the gates 7 ground and 14 VCC. Again you have NOT gate here. NOT gate is what? We have 6 NOT gates in one single IC again. 1 input, 2 output, 3 input, 4 output, 5 input, 6 output and 7 is ground. Similarly 8 output and 9 input and so on. So you have 6 combinations of NOT gates in one single IC. Numbering is, this is the way we do numbering for NOT gate. 7404 is the NOT gate which is used. Similarly we have XOR gate. 7486 is the XOR gate which is used. And again we have 4 combinations of XOR gates in any given one single IC 7486. Again here 7 is ground and 14 is VCC, and numbering of IC is this. Similarly we have XNOR gate. Again we have 4 combinations of XNOR in a single IC 74266. Okay, so this is how the numbering of 74266 IC XOR gate is. Okay, so all these ICs we will be using in the lab. You will understand much clearer once we use these ICs in the lab. Similarly, we have NAND and NOR gate. Very important is NOR gate diagram. Okay, I'll tell you why. NAND is, again you have 4 combinations of NAND in a single IC. 7400 is the 2 input NAND gate which is used, and this is how the numbering is being done. All gates numbering where you see 1, 2 is input, 3 is output, where 4, 5 is input, 6 is output and so on. Similar pin numbering is there for all ICs except NOR gate. NOR gate is quite ulta. I hope if you see this particular diagram itself you will understand. In NOR gate 1 is the output and 2, 3 is the input. 4 is the output and 5, 6 is the input. So NOR gate is quite different. Numbering is different compared to any other IC's numbering. Okay, so keep this in mind. NOR gate numbering is completely different compared to any other gates numbering. So 7402 is the IC which is used for NOR gate, where 1 is the output, whereas 2, 3 is the input. Whereas for all other gates, you see 1, 2 is the input, whereas 3 is the output. Similarly, this side 13, 12 is input where 11 is output, but here 13 is the output whereas 12 and 11 is the input. So NOR gate is quite different compared to any other ICs. I hope students, you people are much clear about principles of logic, combinational logic circuits. I hope you are clear with the Boolean laws that we use in digital system design. You are clear now with different gates that basic gates that are used in digital design. Now you are also clear with universal gates that are used in digital system design. And I also showed you the pin details of all the gates that we normally use in the lab. Okay, I'm going to end with this session with a brief introduction with this video. Now in my next session, we'll see how to realize different gates using universal gates. Okay, so how to realize universal gates or how to realize different gates using universal gates in my next video. Thank you.